Hey guys, Joseph here. Now in this video I'm going to be looking at what I think are the 5 best weapons in Normandy. Now, this is going to be looking at all of the 5 weapons so I think are the best. So, stuff like, the Thompson, the BAR, or probably shouldn't ruin what's already in the video. But basically, just all of these weapons. I'll be taking into account gold orders as well. I'll be taking a look at vehicles. I've already made a video on vehicles. So yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of weapons to choose from. So, yeah, if your favourite weapon's not included on this list, just remember, I'm picking this as a top 5, not like a top 10 or something like that. So there's a lot of weapons to choose from. Anyways, that being said, let me move on to number 5, and then move on to, of course, number 1. Coming in number 5 is actually going to be a massive surprise to probably everyone. It's the FG42. Now, I know, the FG42 is insanely powerful. As you can see here by its stats, it's got a fire rate of 680 to 750 shots a minute, 12 hit power, 47 vertical recoil, 20 horizontal recoil, 20 round magazine, semi and full auto fire, 2.6 for low type. So why is it only at number 5? Well, I just think this is the weapon I have the least fun with. Now, obviously, it is one of the best weapons in the game. It's one of the best weapons in the game. Definitely one of the best weapons, if not second best, I'd say, in the Axis. The only reason it's not in number 5, it's only at number 5 and not, say, number 1, is I just don't have any fun with the weapon. Like, with every other weapon, I have a lot of fun with it. GFG, I just don't have much fun with it. It's meh, really, for how fun it is. Obviously, it's OP as fuck. It would not got in number 5 if it wasn't, but I think, yeah, it just doesn't really come much, as good as, say, the other weapons on this list. Anyways, let me now move on to number 4. For number 4, I've had to hop over to Berlin because I've already bought it out in Normandy, but it's the Gewehr 43 with the Kurtz round. Now, yeah, just what is there to say about this? It's the discount STG, I know, but it's really, really powerful. Now, immediately it's a gold order weapon, so you get hit by 4 stars by default. So it has a hit power of 10, so it's basically a one-shot kill at basically most ranges. 440 to 480 shots a minute, 2.2 reload time, 23 vertical, 6 horizontal, 3 round magazine, semi-auto and 3 round burst, and a lot, all of this obviously deviations from using it as a gold order. Now, what I really like about the G43 Kurtz is it's just really powerful in almost any situation. You can use it on essentially every soldier. I think you can use it on every soldier other than assaulters, snipers, and gunners. And of course vehicles. Now, with this weapon, you just fire, really. It's really good. Very good for clearing buildings, very good for clearing out structures. Both semi-auto and 3-round bursts are great with this thing. I've gotten tons of multi-kills, and I've seen videos of people just spamming this thing and getting, like, 10, 20, 30 kills in a minute or something like that. Like, this thing is very, very good. Doesn't matter if you're using the semi-auto or the 3-round burst. This thing just shreds. Now, the only downside with this is the same thing with the FG42. The ammo count. Like, that's 3 mags. That's not going to last long. There's a reason why on my Normandy guy, I actually have ammo bags for this thing. Because you just need ammo. This thing just chews through ammo so quickly, which is why it's getting the number 4 slot. Now, obviously, there are other reasons it's getting number 4. I think the other 3 weapons are better than the Gewehr 43 Kurtz, but it's still a fantastic weapon. Comes in at number 4. Let's move on to number 3. For number 3, we're hopping over to the Allies for this time, and it is the BAR A2. Now, the A2's main strength is it's basically just the BAR A1, just better. Now, 550 to 600 shots a minute, 12 hit power, reload time of 2.3, got a 15 horizontal and a 34 vertical recoil, 20 round magazine, but this is the main thing, auto and slow auto. Slow auto is such a great fire mode. It's honestly one of my favourite firing modes in the game, because it's basically semi-automatic, but all you do is you click this and it's you just keep firing it. It's really, really cool. It's an upgrade over the A1. Like, I know people like, for example, the the MG34 and the MP42, you know, that's apples and pears really, but this is just miles better than the A1. The A2 is just better than the A1. Well, it's just fun to use. Like, it's fun to sort of build in with the A2 and just blast everything apart with the slow auto file. Not the full auto. It's really good on both fire modes. As well as it's the slow auto, I meant to say, is actually really good for defense. It's a strong weapon. Like, I love it. Like, it's just very strong. It's one of my favourite weapons in the game, and it's easily a top, you know, it's easily a top 5 weapon, top 3 weapon actually. No, I've talked about it. Anyways, let me move on to number 2 and number 1, and I bet if you watch this channel, you'll probably know which weapons those are going to be. For number 2, this one might come as a bit of a surprise, but it's the MP43. Now, I've said the MP43 is the most powerful Axis weapon in the game. I've said this, it is just absurd. Like, base stats of 8 hit power, 550 to 600 shots a minute, 2.6 for load time, 26 vertical recoil, 7 horizontal, 30-round magazine, full auto and semi-auto fire. This thing is insane. I've got one of these as well. Look at when you get this to fully maxed. You know, 9.6 damage. You know, 2.3 reload time, 24 to 6 recoil. 630 to 690 nice shots per minute. It is just absurdly powerful, this weapon. Now, the only reason it's not at number 1 is I prefer the weapon at number 1. Now, this thing is still just incredible. Like, this is honestly one of the best weapons in the game. If not, I would argue, you know, best Axis weapon and the most overpowered Axis weapon is the MP43. Now, you know, I'm not denying that. It's more powerful than the Gavir 43 Kurt, it's more powerful than the FG. Yes, even I'm saying it's more powerful than the FG42. The only downside is it's locked to assaulters. Now, there are other weapons, of course, which I've added, like the BAR, which are locked to gunners only. But I think this one really has a detriment that it's locked to assaulters only, because if this was, I'd say if this was a, like the Gavir 43 Kurt on every class, this weapon would be number 1, and it would be the most overpowered weapon in the game. It still is one of the most overpowered weapons in the game, but I think just because it's locked to assaulters that it's kind of balanced. It's still incredible, and it is one of the... And I would say, if it hadn't been for the number 1 choice, it would be a clear number 1. Anyways, let's move to that number 1, which, of course, if you watch this channel for any mention of time, you will know what is number 1. I'm pretty sure if you played any games with me, you'll know what number 1 is as well. I don't think this comes as any surprise. Number 1, it is the M1A1 Thompson. A weapon I said... I've been saying this since I've unlocked it. This thing is worth grinding. Like, this is... For anyone who's going into Normandy or even Tunisia and thinking, I don't know, this grinds too much, grind out just for this weapon. This weapon makes the grind. Honestly, rewarding. Fire rate of 550 to 600 shots a minute. 3 second reload time. 27 to 11 recoil. You know, 30-round magazine, full-on semi-auto, and 6.2. But what makes this weapon so good is just, it's so versatile. Like, I know the MP43 is probably on paper a better weapon, but this just feels more powerful. Like the MP43 it feels like, you know, it's powerful, you feel the power, but this thing you can really, the raw power that you get from using the Thompson, it's honestly unlike any other weapon in the game. It is incredibly powerful. It burns through its magazine super quickly, so honestly, having you know, the maxed out magazines, the ammo patches is really good with this weapon. But yeah, it's just a strong weapon. Like, it's just incredibly strong. It hits like a train. It's really powerful close range. There's no better close range weapon in my opinion. I've made people literally try and ban me from using Normandy allies. Not because I'm using jumbos, not because I'm using P47s or BARs, but because I'm using Thompsons. This weapon is that powerful. The only downside I have with the weapon is the iron sights, because of these two arches here. I think these two things, they're not that good. Like they hinder too much sight. But other than that, it's actually a very, very strong weapon. It is honestly just great. Now there is obviously the M1 version of the weapon, which is here. Now the only downside I think with the M1 is it's got a faster fire rate, and it has better iron sights. It has slightly reduced recoil as well, but I prefer the. But I think again, like the BAR, not the BAR, like the Thompson, like the MG34 and the MG42. You know, it's just apples and pears with these two weapons. You can put both of them at number one. I prefer the A1 because it's more easy to control, but it's still incredible, and it's arguably one of the best weapons, if not the best weapon in the game. Now, obviously, I haven't used the Soviet SMGs yet, which I have been starting to use them, and I have been, I've been thinking, Jesus Christ, these are really good. I really cannot wait till I get the PPSH, so, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.